It was a Tuesday night in October 2010. Across America, people were doing ordinary things, watching TV, eating dinner, putting their kids to bed. But for 300 people, completely unknown to each other, something extraordinary was quietly happening inside their bank accounts. Numbers were changing, balances were climbing, and nobody had any idea why. By midnight, some accounts had been credited with $2 million, others $3 million, some as high as $7 million. Real money, sitting in real accounts, belonging to real ordinary Americans who had gone to sleep with nothing and woken up, at least on paper, as millionaires. The source of the chaos was a software update gone catastrophically wrong at one of America's largest regional banks. A routine overnight patch, the kind that happens at banks every single week, had contained a single line of corrupted code. One line, in millions of lines of programming. And that one line had triggered a cascading error that rewrote account balances across the entire customer database. The bank's overnight IT team noticed the anomaly at 2:17 in the morning. By then, it was already too late. The error had been running for 4 hours. The corrupted transactions had already been processed, recorded, and confirmed by the system. As far as the bank's own computers were concerned, every single one of those balances was completely legitimate. Now here is where the story gets truly fascinating. Because what happened next revealed something deeply uncomfortable about human nature. When faced with millions of dollars that didn't belong to them, people made very different choices, and those choices would define everything that followed. The first group, roughly 200 of the 300 affected customers, did nothing. They woke up, saw the balance, assumed it was an error, and waited. Some called the bank, some ignored it completely. These people would later be thanked by the bank and face absolutely zero consequences. Their story ends here. But the second group, approximately 100 people, made a very different decision. They saw the money, and they spent it, immediately, aggressively, as if they knew exactly how little time they had. Within hours of the glitch being discovered, ATMs across 3 states were being drained, wire transfers were flying out of accounts, and luxury purchases were being made at a speed that would later stun federal investigators. One man in Houston, Texas, a 34-year-old warehouse worker named only as Marcus in court documents, withdrew the daily ATM maximum every hour on the hour from 11 different ATMs across the city. By 6 a.m., he had taken out $47,000 in cash. He then drove to a Rolex dealership, bought 2 watches, and wired $120,000 to a property account he had opened the previous month. A woman in Phoenix, Arizona transferred $1.4 million to an offshore account she had set up 3 years earlier, almost as if she had been waiting for exactly this kind of moment her entire life. A couple in Florida booked a private villa in the Maldives, paid for 6 months in advance, and were on a plane before the bank's legal team had even finished their first emergency meeting. Over the following 18 months, 67 people were charged with federal offenses ranging from wire fraud to theft of financial services. Marcus from Houston was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison and ordered to repay every cent. The couple in Florida were extradited from the Maldives. The villa, it turned out, was not quite far enough away. But here is the twist that nobody saw coming. During the federal investigation, it emerged that the corrupted software patch had not been an accident at all. A junior software engineer at the bank's third-party IT contractor had deliberately introduced the error, not to steal money himself, but to expose what he called the catastrophic security vulnerabilities in America's banking infrastructure. He wanted to prove a point, and he proved it spectacularly. He was arrested, charged, and sentenced to 6 years, but in a bizarre footnote to the entire case, 3 separate U.S. senators cited his case in congressional hearings about banking cybersecurity. New federal regulations were introduced, and the very vulnerability he had exposed was patched across every major American bank within 6 months. The man who broke the system accidentally fixed it. One corrupted line of code 300 accidental millionaires, $42 million gone by morning, and a man who went to prison for trying to make America safer. If this story shocked you, next week's will leave you speechless. Subscribe now. You cannot afford to miss it.